everyone, it's Karen. Okay, so I have been recently inspired by Lindy from Lindy's Magpie Reads to read more than I normally do. She is so great, I think, from the outside anyway, at prioritizing her time and just making sure that she saves loads of reading time for herself. I think this is perfect for me to focus on just reading loads in the next week or two because I have fewer than 2 weeks until I go on vacation to the East Coast. This is the last big trip of the summer. I will put a little map so you can see where we are going. Basically to Kwamina, well, no, rewind. First, London, where Emma Donahue lives, then to Kwaminan Falls, then Salem, Mass, then we'll go through New Hampshire, and we're gonna hang out in Maine for a couple days. Then on the way back, this is what I'm most excited for, we'll be going through Rhode Island into Connecticut, and we will be going to the Book Barn, which, like, there are so many good literary places along the way, but that's what I'm most excited for. And then we'll just head back to Michigan, going through Pennsylvania, basically just trying to get as many states as I can. I've never been to Canada, even though it's about 2 hours from my house. And there are about 8 states that I will be adding to my list of states I have not been to before. I am going to try to read as many of my own books as I can before this trip, and also to kind of conquer my NetGalley list by the end of the summer, because shortly after this trip, summer will be over. I don't want to talk about it right now. I just want to say I'll be reading as much as I can for the next couple of weeks, and I thought I would take you along with me. It's not shorty September, but I have 50 minutes until I leave for an appointment, and I'm just curious how many shorties I can get through. It's gonna happen. Mini shorty little sprint. This is the shortest book I own, and it was free with my period underwear that I got from Muka. Okay, I'm gonna leave a little bit early, so I was only able to finish one book, but oh my gosh, this book is so important and so good. Like, I'm definitely gonna put it in my classroom for however long it lasts before I get censored on, but it is just an amazing book for people that are developing and about to get their period or recently got it and just want help like processing through what's going on with them. It is just really inclusive in the vocabulary. So at one point they said like people with male reproductive systems do not get periods or something like that, where it was like just so good and so appropriate and inclusive and all that stuff. It also includes real photographs of like what you might see when you go to the restroom, which I thought was super amazing too, just because like as an adult you know like what it looks like, but as a kid I don't know, it could be like shocking or just scary how like maybe it can change and look different ways at different times. And I just love this book so much. So if you know and love anybody that works with children, I definitely think this would be an amazing gift for them. I'm gonna put it in my classroom. I hope it doesn't get censored, but yeah, awesome gift to kids. Often awesome thing for parents to share with kids, and also an amazing thing for classroom teachers to have in their classrooms as well. It's Coast Guard Festival right now, so it's super busy to be in Grand Haven. We're learning about camouflage tomorrow, and this is our craft. Do you see the woodcock?
In that notch is a small bone called the xiphoid process. We want to stay away.
This is the face of the Gulf Master. Watch as he lines up his shot. Nailed it. He's like 3 points ahead of us. Hey Dad, how do you feel about your victory so far?
I feel great.
Hey Dad, what'd you get for dinner?
Hot honey Brussels sprouts with bacon and peanuts.
Noodles. I'm so close to this deer. He saw me and he wasn't scared or anything, which is probably bad. He should be scared of humans, but hey buddy, what you doing? You're so pretty. You just having breakfast? What you doing? So I've never noticed this pipe before. Maybe because the water levels were higher before, or maybe I don't know. I've never noticed it before. I'm wondering if that's for water. Could we do like legit get our water straight from here? The water plant is like literally right behind me, but I've just never seen it before. There's the water treatment place. Very curious. I'm gonna have to do some research later. I am in a part of the memoir right now where she's talking about how she just went to Rhode Island and she likes walking, and how she gets pestered by all these guys every single time she walks. And like I so connect to that, not to the same level as her, but like that does happen. And then her boyfriend was like, oh, do you need a car? Like, I will give you a car. Like, no, a woman should be able to walk without being pestered. And what's annoying to me so much is I have heard from the mouth of someone I trust, a few people I trust actually, that like if something happens, it's your own fault because it's not safe for you to walk by yourself. Like, no. That's the problem. Like, you should be able to walk by yourself and not be pestered. And I think that we are solving the wrong problem by being like, oh, like, I'll give you a car. Guys, I'm in my church's library. Look what I found. Hey everyone, it's Karen. So I wanted to just jump on for a second and kind of like put this video together a bit more because I feel like it's just random clips of fun stuff I've done when the whole point of the video was that I wanted to get a lot of reading done. And honestly, I feel like I've been super busy and it hasn't happened to the same level I want it to happen, but I have done a lot better. So since the start of this video, I've read 1,798 pages, and basically today and tomorrow I really have no plans besides the massage I'm gonna leave for in a hot second and this library confidential behind the scenes program that I'm going to tonight. So I will have loads more time to read, but I wanted to just kind of give an update on what I have read so far. So the first book I read on August 1st was What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez. That was my first book by her, and I really liked how it dealt with like the intimacy between two people who like didn't really seem like they were the closest of friends, but then their friendship kind of grew throughout the book. And I also loved the idea of right to death being discussed because that is something I have very strong feelings about, and I think it's a complex issue, and like even with my strong feelings, I don't really feel one way or the other because of the ramifications of what my gut says, basically. So that is something that might be interesting to do a video on later if you guys have other books that deal with right to death. The next book I read was The Autism Friendly Guide to Periods, which I love. I want to like gift it to like everybody in the world. But anyway, then I read Disquiet, which was like really good for Shorty September, which I apparently was supposed to save it for. Like, apparently I left a comment in one of Heather's videos where I said, oh, I'm gonna buy that, it's super cheap, I'm gonna save it for Shorty September, and then I did not save it. Anyway, it tells the story of this guy who I thought was a girl in the beginning of the book, who is a reporter for a newspaper, and goes to an editorial meeting only to find like their childhood best friend dead. Loads of pictures of him basically being murdered. And so the story goes back, like partially trying to figure out what happened, but also just dealing with like past memories, and deals a lot with religion. It was super interesting, and yeah, I really liked it. I read Snow Falling on Cedars, which was for my family book club. I'm the only one in my family that liked it, and I gave it 5 stars. Like, I loved it. I also loved the other book that I read by him. Some of the things I appreciated about it were like the loads of description, and my family thought it could have been a lot shorter. Yeah, I'm interested in watching the movie now. Basically, the premise, if you don't know, is it's in Washington, but I think it's off some island near Washington, and this fisherman is just found dead. And it's like in a small town, everyone knows each other, all that sort of stuff. They tend to kind of get along with everybody because it's a small town, but there is a huge Asian population. And even though they get along because it's a small town, there's still some internal prejudice. And that's a big point of discussion in the book. Basically, this Japanese man, well, he's actually Japanese American. I'm pretty sure he was born in America. He is basically accused of murdering this guy, and the whole book that unfolds is basically like a courtroom drama sort of a thing, with trying to figure out what actually happened to this guy. And like the whole time you're pretty sure this Asian guy like did not do it and that he's being framed. But yeah, I just feel like it was a really cool like crime book, but at the same point it got into a lot of like deeper issues and would be really amazing to talk about at book club if the rest of my family liked it. Then I read a book called Mutual Aid, which I just read through once, but I actually want to go through and reread all my notes and highlights that I did in it, because I would like to write a blog piece basically on how self-care in teachers has been weaponized against them, and how we need to basically stop piling more on teachers' plates and treating them like crap, and then being like, oh, but self-care, what are you doing for self-care? Like putting more pressure on them by making them responsible for self-care, and moving more towards like collective care, which mutual aid kind of touches on as well. So I want to go back and think about that book more deeply. But to just quickly summarize it, it's basically on how charity is kind of constructed in like this business model, like top down, like rich white people helping other people. But it really is not good, because it like basically the rich white people or the middle class white people or whoever decide who they think is worthy of help, and then also they're kind of like giving people the help they think they need versus the help the people actually need. And yeah, it's just like not the best. So mutual aid is basically communities coming together to support whoever needs help in their community, and giving without any strings attached or any like judgment on if somebody is worthy or not. And I actually saw something on The Onion, which was, as usual, funny, not funny, where it was like person on food stamps needs to determine that they actually have a need by eating all their groceries in a single sitting at the store. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, then I read my best friend's Exorcism, which I loved the whole time. Then the bloodbath started, and I don't think I'm a horror person. I think I'm a thriller person, a suspense person, a mystery person. I don't think I can be horror. And I know that Heather from Soggy Expat Bookshelf, she said that was the Soggy Expat Book Nerd. That's like the second time I've done that. She said before that that's like the book that turned her on to horror. No, I'm still too much of a baby. Like, the whole thing was amazing. The late 80s vibes. I was only 2 when the book apparently took place. Well, 1 or 2 depending on what month it was. I can't remember what month it was in the book, but yeah, I like basically put on a Spotify playlist that had like music that was referenced in the book, because there were loads of songs referenced in the book as well as movies, and so it was cool to like listen to the music that was actually in the book as I was reading it. Just the whole atmosphere was perfect, but I could not handle the end. There was the animal part, and I was just like, after the animal part, I was like, nope, like I'm gonna finish this book, but it's not my jam, can't do it. Then the final book I just finished a few minutes ago was Know My Name by Chanel Miller. That one I listened to on Audible and Audio. I mean, it was Audible, but I'm not promoting them. I think it was amazing to hear the author's own voice telling her story, and it was just sad to me because, well, first of all, the whole story is sad. She is the one that was raped by a Stanford swimmer, and basically the story was sad in and of itself, right? I personally have never had anything like that happen to me, but what was really heartbreaking to me is a lot of like tend to say that they've never like experienced sexism, like they don't really get the whole feminist movement and stuff like that because they haven't experienced it. And I think it's not that they haven't experienced it. I think it's so ingrained in what they think is normal that they don't realize that it's not okay. And so much of what Chanel said outside of the actual rape story was stuff I could deeply connect to and stuff that I've had conversations with family members about. And it's just like, you just realize the weight of being a woman, I guess, and how the world treats you. That's what I have read so far. I'm gonna head off to my massage. I am going to spend the afternoon reading either on my deck or at the beach. I'm not really sure where yet. And then later tonight, I have the library confidential behind the scenes sort of a thing. And we'll read more after that. So let's see what else I can get done the rest of the weekend.